This weekend on Simone, we are taking you on the journey to Juneteenth. In 1866, Black Texans became the first to recognize June 19th as Juneteenth. And on June 17, 2021, President Biden signed the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act, officially making Juneteenth a federal holiday. It marks the date the last Black Americans living in enslavement were notified of their freedom. Now, as I've said, Juneteenth feels a little heavier this year due to our current political climate and this movement to erase this very history from our public discourse. Take South Carolina, for example. A teacher at Chapin High School in Lexington, Richland County School District 5 had to remove a classroom discussion on Ta-Nehisi Coates' memoir. It's called Between the World and Me. It was after complaints that the memoir violated a state law prohibiting instruction on controversial topics related to race. This is why the telling of history like Juneteenth is just so important. So to mark the third anniversary of the federal holiday, I had the opportunity to visit the National Museum of African American History and Culture for a very special conversation with the museum's current director, Kevin Young. Now, in this part of our wide-ranging conversation, Director Young and I unpacked the journey towards freedom and the important role Watch Night service has played in the lives of Black Americans for more than a century now. Take a look.
And I think Black folks are on Juneteenth celebrating that distance, but also that nearness about knowing what it means to be free. I also think about what Toni Morrison says, that the function of freedom is to free someone else. And, you know, we have to think about that, the ways that freedom connects us, that we are connected in our freedom and need to keep that and maintain it at all times.
I remember in school learning about the slave trade, the history of slavery, and
Was it quick?
It was very quick. It was so quick.
Did everyone turn and stare?
Oh, my goodness. It was very quick, and there's so many various nuances. I mean, we could have spent a whole year in school, particularly just on the economics of the slave trade.
Well, I think what's important is we don't just talk about slavery. We talk about resistance to slavery. So there's a lot of discussion of how slavery had regional aspects to it, different in, say, the low country of the Carolinas versus Louisiana, where my family's from. But I think also accompanying those are rebellions. And this is a later version of some of that, which is individuals like John Brown, William Lloyd Garrison, all the way to Sojourner Truth, who's one of my heroes, and Frederick Douglass, who, of course, not only wrote so beautifully about slavery, also published a paper called Frederick Douglass's paper, but also he published a paper called The North Star, where he's trying to think about these and have this dialogue about slavery and enslavement. And he saw it so integral to something we have to fix. If you remember, his first narrative in 1845 is called, you know, a narrative of Frederick Douglass, an American slave. And that kind of contradiction, that paradox of liberty, is what he's having us think about.
I'm going back to my lessons in school, my quick lessons in school. You learned that, everyone in the North wanted to end slavery, everybody in the South wanted to keep it. But again, the story is a lot more complicated. I mean, just right here, you know, the North was committed to controlling the spread of slavery, but they were hesitant to end it. Obviously, the South, folks in the South, the Confederacy wanted to expand the economic engine that was slavery. They wanted to preserve it. But it was the presence of African-American soldiers in the Union, the presence of folks like Sojourner Truth and Frederick Douglass, again, this outside-inside strategy of folks who made their mission quite clear about what they wanted, which was freedom.
Right. Well, I like to say every enslaved person was an abolitionist. You know, they wanted freedom. And so sometimes this kind of gradual strategy or other things, that didn't work if you were working as an enslaved person. And so how do you organize? It takes every aspect. It takes Northern and Southern agitation, let's call it, to fight for freedom. I also think, you know, I'm from Kansas as well as Nebraska, and growing up there, you're very well aware of that battle for Kansas, whether it's going to be a free or enslaved state, and bleeding Kansas as a result, and people like John Brown and others, Langston Hughes' grandfather, who fought with John Brown for freedom. You know, these are all connected to what we see later in the 20th century and even now.
This is a section y'all call the sanctuary.
That's right.
I like to refer to it as like the altar. This is from what? This is from Union Bethel AME.
That's right, right here in D.C.
Right here in Washington, D.C. So I did not know this, okay? I grew up Baptist. We're AME now.
Okay.
I grew up Baptist, so I'm always passing the plate. And I grew up going to watch night service.
That's right.
If you grow up in the African-American church, watch night services are what you usually go to on December 31st, New Year's Eve.
That's
you go
New
to
Year's
church
Eve.
on New Year's Eve, and
That's
then
right.
you bring in the new year at church. I had no idea watch night service was connected to the Emancipation Proclamation.
It's intimately tied to it. And people created these sanctuaries as places where people could gather. The church had long been one of those, that people could gather and worship in peace, but also look forward to emancipation. And they did so on that first watch night on the eve of January 1st, 1863. And this is a representation of that. It's so wonderful to have these objects, because I think what happens is you see the objects and you really connect to them in a different way than I can tell you the story. But these objects tell the story in such a powerful way.
Powerful way, and I think the power of the church as a political entity.
Sure. And it's resilience. It was black owned. It was a place
Black owned buildings, black land. So it was a place that it was one of the few places that, I guess at that point, the only place that black people controlled.
Well, and same thing, you know, there's not an accident that the civil rights movement is born out of these black religious centers. They provided the same freedom, you know, 100 years later. Word of mouth is a powerful thing, but we also have these little tiny emancipation proclamations that Union soldiers could carry, or they could hand out to those who could read, to read aloud to people, to declare in town to town that this was happening.
What you all are doing at this museum is nothing short of remarkable.
I appreciate it.
Especially in a time where, you know, in some places across our country, teachers could lose their jobs for telling the history that is encapsulated in this building.
Well, and it's so part of the American fabric. We tell the American story through an African-American lens, and I'm so happy to have you here help us tell it.
Many thanks to Director Kevin Young and his entire staff, everyone over at the National Museum of African American History and Culture for their time. Please go watch our entire conversation. You don't want to miss it. Our special edition of Simone, Journey to Juneteenth. It is right now available on the MSNBC Hub on Peacock. Y'all can stream it during your Juneteenth barbecues tomorrow.